Tell me your name again.
Hello, my name is Xanet. It's
Marie.
spelled Xanet, and my surname is Marie.
What's your background, Janet?
My background is West Indian from Barbados.
Barbados.
Yeah, my parents were living in Barbados, and when I was born, and my mom died when I was about 6 years old, I think.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have other sisters. I have an older sister. I have, wait a minute, how many sisters? I got one died last year, so I got four other sisters, and one brother died the year before. So, we both had cancer, so they both died. But I was always writing, and I was always singing, because I sing a lot, which people at GKM don't know that I sing.
Oh.
They don't. I mean, like, sing along in the congregation, but they don't know that I sing solos as well. So no boy has ever asked me. So sometime I want to go to the seniors group and see if I can see what I can do there.
No, but don't jump ahead. Don't jump too back. So you're born in Barbados.
Yes.
And then how did you end up in Canada? Why did you come to Canada?
Well, I had one sister. I had two sisters in Canada. Another sister who moved back to Barbados after she retired.
Right.
And then another sister who still lives there. So I thought, well, I'll come and see what the place is like and, what it can do. So I came out, worked, went to school, I wanted to go to University of Rice and do law, but then I thought, I want to do more community work, get involved with the community and everything. So I went back to school, and I went to George Brown. And there at George Brown, I did child care. So I got into child care field. And after child care, first I got, back up. First I was working for the government for a little while, the government downtown. And then I went back to school out there full time. I just took my job and said, you know what, I can't stay in here because I don't like what I see, and I want to do something to help the community. And that's why I am doing community work. So I went to George Brown then, and I did the child care, and then I went to Centennial.
Right.
And I did cross-cultural, what do you call it now? Okay, I got back up here. There we go. Cross-cultural communication, which was like, where you can also talk to people of different cultures.
Right.
And you could also help them if they wanted some help in whatever it is. Although you might not know the language, but you can still do. And then I went, where did I go? Then I went to Canada Christian College, and I did certificate in Christian counseling. Well, the other one was counseling too, but it was kind of different counseling. And then I just worked, and then I worked, and then I worked, and retired. And I decided, you know what? I can't just sit down and don't do anything. I got to get moving. Because that's what I was used to all the time, like even when I was working and it was late, like leave work, especially on Friday evenings, I'll go and I'll do. I was working with a group called, I was like paper today, I can't remember the name anyway. But I was working with this group, a Christian-based group, who send out clients like me, not clients, sorry. I wasn't really a client. I was volunteers to different people with cancer. I did HIV and AIDS when it was really prevalent. So I went to, I had a person who I went to, and then I went to like a parent who had HIV. His child didn't, so I was there to look after the child, go walks and go to parks and everything. Then I went to another client who had a child. She had HIV, but the child didn't. The child did in this case, and the child went, and then it was every child because she was going to university. So she's doing homework, so they're there to keep the child active and everything. So, yeah.
That's interesting, because I worked in HIV/AIDS for many years.
You did?
That was my job for many years. I worked with clients, with counsel people, supported them, hold their hand while they died, passed away, and took care, sometimes took children home when their parents were too ill.
Right.
And and then I was an administrator, so I was an executive director at an organization called Black Cap, Black Coalition for AIDS Prevention.
Oh, yes, yeah, I know.
You know about them?
Black Cap,
yeah, that's where I worked for many years. Wow, that's so interesting.
Because when I was first in Canada, I also tutored, I can't remember what the black organization was called, but it was about to help kids do their homework when after school, so I was doing that as well. And then in another couple of years, I put out a directory called Directory of Black Volunteer Organizations, because like people know they were black oranges, but they didn't know how to get into someone to volunteer, whether it was a white person, black person, whoever.
Right, right.
So I put out a directory of my own that I did. I searched my own directory, and I put it into like universities, colleges, churches, organizations.
What was it called?
Director of Black Volunteer Organizations.
Fantastic,
I did
fantastic.
it for 2 years.
You did it for 2 years?
I
Wow.
did it for 2 years, and I did all the material, get all the material from my, my sister helped me do it out and everything, but I got all the information myself, and I did that, put it out there. It went well because, people always called me up and asked me, like what is it, and I also got a write-up in, not the share, what was the other one called?
Contrast.
Contrast? Yeah, I got a write-up in Contrast. When I think it's 1976 and 1977. Yeah, and I also got a write-up in Contrast.
Fantastic. Look at that. And did you have a family? Did you end up having children?
No,
or
I don't have any. I didn't have any children. That's why I was so busy.
Oh, too busy to have that.
But it wasn't supposed to be. I couldn't have any, so I work with other people's kids.
Listen, I don't have any either. And what I say is that some of us are here, so we have many. So we don't have some for own. We are involved with everybody, with
I
many
got nieces
children.
and nephews, and
Yes.
not a whole lot of them, but I got.
But everything also that you did was to do for the world, for the wider community.
It's for the wider community, yeah.
Wonder. And then so you end up. So how did you end up here, like in this facility?
Well, I came here last year. I've been here like 7 months now.
Yeah.
I came here last year because after COVID, you couldn't go too much and do a lot of things, so I stayed inside, and it was boring. And my niece said, well, I'll look for a place for you that you can do other things, and you can, you can go within the building, like you don't have to go and things, because I was so busy doing different things and, getting involved in things at City Hall and different places that I was kind of boring afterwards. So I started writing before that. And then when I just retired and I was home, I started writing my poetry more and more and more all the time. So, then I had published a little book, but I have to publish other things because I've done a whole lot of new stuff. And this morning I gave the pastor at the church one of my poems, and he said, "Oh, well, when you going to start preaching?" I said, "I don't think so."
So how do you describe your poetry? What kind of poetry do you write?
My poetry is uplifting poetry, I can say that. But I have things where there's one where I wrote and it just comes on my head. I'll be trying to fall asleep and I can't sleep because I'm thinking ahead of something, what I'm going to do when I get next morning. So I get up from midnight and I start writing. I start writing as well. But how to describe it? It's to energize and to uplift people. That's why it's to be uplifting the people of, it doesn't matter who they are, what culture they're from, if they read it. So last year I was going to do cards, but then I couldn't find anything to use I have photography, like I've done photography as well.
Right.
But, excuse me, so I couldn't find anything, so I decided to write my own card, and I wrote a poem called Why Jesus Came. I wrote that. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Jackie, how you doing? You good? That's mommy?
No, a friend.
A friend.
Oh, you look like family.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe the army don't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
West Indian, Caribbean. You never know.
All right. Enjoy your dinner.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so that's how I end up.
And so would you say they're mostly religious themed, or do you just write general? You just write what you feel like at different times?
Well, let me put it this way. Let me see what I got. If I find anything here, I'll let you know. But because I had this in my bag from this morning, so that's why it's still in there. I'm gonna put that one in here. So I write things, and I write words.
And you handwrite them?
I handwrite them now because the other one, the one that looked what I had, they were all things, but I couldn't find anybody to do. Everybody's so busy. So,
Right.
So I handwrite them. But I do play on words too, and it's kind of thing.
Right.
Like like I'll do like something like Amazing Grace, and I put the cross. So I put the cross like that,
Right.
right? And so I can do that. I can
Right.
do A, N, A, right? G, R. Okay, the A will come down here. C, E.
Right. I
So it's
see.
Amazing Grace.
Right.
And I do a lot of play on words, like I write a word like pray,
Uh-huh.
and then I put a thing for every word pray.
Uh-huh.
Pray is like pray to God, right?
Mm-hmm.
R would be read the Bible, His Word, and the next one would be A. Okay, sorry.
No.
Yeah.
I get the
And
idea.
A, you know, and then
almost like a puzzle, like a
yeah, it's a puzzle. Yeah, so
like
I do
a crosswords, right?
Yeah, I
You can
do a
even
lot of that
right?
now. So okay, so it's be here. So D A C E.
You're creating patterns as well.
Yeah, and I do it with lots of words. Otherwise, do the word prayers as I say. I do that one,
Right.
and then I started doing more.
So you're an artist.
Yeah, in that
You're
way.
a creator.
And I do dress designs, but I can't sew. But I draw dresses in my own
A
creation.
lot of the big designers can't sew either. They just draw them. So that's all you do.
You see? And then like amazing, you know, like marvelous, whatever. So that's what I do a lot of times too. That's what keeps me from sleeping at night because I'm so busy trying to think of the next thing to do.
Right. Right.
But I get up in the morning, and if I'm still tired or I'm, you know, feeling pain because I haven't slept properly, I get up and say, no, God, you give me a new day. And let me go. Let me go. I'm not going to just stay home and, poor me, and nothing like that, you know, yeah.
And so I've met you today because you know my sister. How do you know my sister?
I know your sister from going. Jackie, did you go to Scarborough Gospel Temple too? Yeah, she was in the choir. It was like Scarborough Gospel Temple. We were both in the choir together.
Right.
And then the church we went to GKM,
Yeah.
so Global Kingdom Ministries, and she was over there and I was over there.
Right.
But we didn't sing in the choir over there, did we? No, we didn't have a choir. We didn't have a choir, did we? We had the choir, but I didn't sing in the choir.
You didn't sing in the choir global, did you? Or did you, Jackie?
I did.
Oh, you
I
did?
think she did, because the choir didn't last that long anyway. But, they don't have one right now as well, but you know, I was there as part of the deacon board and everything, and you know, everything else.
Wonderful. Well, it's such a pleasure meeting you.
Yes.
And we just run into each other like this. And
Yeah.
what I'll do is I'll send this video. I'll get the number from Jackie and I'll send this video to you. I'll send you a
Okay.
link so you can see it and you can share it.
Right.
Because, you know, it's a little bit of what they call oral history.
Oh yeah.
That here you are, you know, from Barbados to here, and what you're doing and how your life has evolved. And you're creating and messaging and motivating and inspiring
I don't
people.
want to be like sitting and saying, you know, if I can't do anything, I can't do anything. But if I
Right.
could do anything, why not? So for Christmas this year, look, not this year, last year, I made bookmarks instead. Because I couldn't get to make my cards, so I made my own bookmarks. And
Right.
I put some of my portrait on my bookmarks, and I put some of my new stuff on my bookmarks, and just hand them out to people.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And
So
then we
then-
have so much in common because then look, we have the commonality of working around HIV/AIDS. I wouldn't have
I-
known that if I didn't speak to you.
And I mean, I really enjoyed working with the guy that I was working with, because usually if I go to do something like that and like I don't know the person, right? Because
Right.
you wouldn't put on until you get there. And I said, Lord, show me what this guy looked like. So when I got there, he looked just like what God had shown me.
Okay.
But he died a couple of years back and everything. So I was there, like, you know, just to help out, maybe heat up a meal for him. He used to get Meals on Wheels, I think, or something.
Right.
I was there, and you know, we had things in common, because when I got there, he used to be doing movies and black and white movies, and I like black and white movies, so we watched black and white movies on the set, right?
Right.
And then the other lady, then I went to another another building. Just it was all downtown area, and her, I think her son or son-in-law and her daughter was into movies too, black and white movies as well. I'm not gonna blow you a kiss, don't worry.
The flirtation continues. Listen, we wouldn't be Caribbean otherwise.
No, when I first came here, I used to come to the restaurant, not a whole lot, but then I thought, you know what? It becomes pricey after a while, so I started to do my own cooking, do my own shopping, do my own cooking, and that's what I do. Occasionally I come up and check out the menu and see what they have, and if I want something, I'll get it. But usually if I But sometimes I don't end up eating it properly, so it's a waste of money as well too. So, yeah.
So that's your kind of independent living situation, right?
Yeah.
Because my sister Jackie, she's in the you're in the long-term care section, right?
Well, a lot of people who live in the manor come up to the restaurant.
They
though.
come here too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know. So I mean, it's a choice, really. You know, it's a choice. Yeah. I have one niece, Andrea, and she was a young England with her mom, which is my sister, and she's so busy. I don't even get to see her. I don't get to talk to her because she's either doing emails somewhere. She has her own company, right? And it's a company that spreads into different places, not just in Canada.
Right.
So she gets sent to maybe Trinidad, Jamaica, someplace. I think at the end, 23rd or 22nd this month, she's going to Paraguay to do to do some program there, and because she worked mostly with women of color.
Right.
But she worked with other people as well, but mostly women of color. So she has her own company, she has her own style, and she's doing well.
Very good.
And she gets lots of awards and stuff. She's got, since she started in 2018, the end of 2018, she's got Toronto City Award. She's got this award.
What's
and
her
this
name? What's her full name?
Andrea Robinson.
Andrea Robinson.
So if you check out, you'll find out who she is.
Okay.
It's things called Global something. It comes called Global something, but I haven't seen her for a while. But I send her, messages and stuff. But she's okay. And her mom still works, but she works from home.
Did you ever live in any other country besides Canada and Barbados?
No other country.
No other country, eh? Did you travel a bit?
I used to travel to Barbados every year, but then COVID, when I was going to go, they had COVID, so I didn't go at that time. But then my sister Dawn was sick, so last year. So I went to visit there, and so I stayed there for a couple of months and then came back. My niece and my sister came back because they had to go back to work.
Right.
But, and my brother had died the year before, but I didn't go to his funeral. He used to live in England, so I didn't know him very well because he went to school, he went to university in England. He got a scholarship. He was like in his teens, and he went to university. So then he stayed and worked, came back home in Barbados, and then he worked.
Right.
So
Because, some people in the Caribbean, they want to go back. They come and they live abroad, but then, oh no, the plan is eventually retire back home kind of thing. But that wasn't your...
That was never my thought. I don't say it wouldn't happen, but if it didn't happen before, I don't think it's going to happen now.
Right.
You know what I mean? My sister went back, but she was here for like 30-some years, and then she went back. She worked, and then she went back to Barbados, and she's okay there, She don't work anymore, but she's involved with different organizations and everything. She's worked with government here for quite a while, but yeah, she's okay.
And I'm curious with the AIDS work you did, because back when I was doing it, back in the 80s and 90s, there's a lot of stigma. So even my family, they were worried. So how were you able in that because a lot of people were very anxious about working with people with AIDS, because they either were worried about catching it or they had a lot of judgments about people. So how did you
And
find
they still
that?
got judged about people as the whole thing. I cannot handle that. Where people are judging somebody because they live in different lifestyles and you are. That's what they want to do. Don't go and start saying, oh, they're like this. I remember one day, this is at church there, Jackie. I was at Scarborough Gospel Temple, and this lady was talking to me, and she was talking to me. She's like, what do you do and stuff. I said, what I do, and I say volunteer. And then I say volunteer, people with AIDS. And she just moved away from me. I just thought she was going to catch something. And I said, it's not catching.
Yes, we went through a lot of that.
You went through that too?
Yeah, no, because even it's more people were worried, for you, because they were worried you might get ill, because then back in those early days when I was doing it, people, there was no real treatment, and a lot of people died, and then we weren't sure how it was passed, but then eventually everybody settled down, and even my family was around people and I brought some of my friends who had it came around, and they didn't bother them after a while.
It really never bothered me at all.
No? How come? Like, how did you have that instinct? Like, it just seemed to...
I just always had that instinct, because I did ministry with people on the street, homeless people, where I would actually sit down beside them. I don't know what they had and what they didn't have. And my good clothes coming from work, I'd sit right down and we'll chat and talk, and there were different areas, like say Young and Bloor, Young and done this a lot, and other homeless people on the street, and I would always talk to them. I don't necessarily that they're just there to ask for money. A lot of people say, oh, they just want your money, but no, that does not bother me, because I want money, and if that's the only way they're going to get it, get it. Because they're going to go and buy a meal or something, and they can't be hungry all the time. Because I would go into Tim Hortons like near to where, not that, more to Young and Lawrence Padine area. And people come in to, as they're trying to get something to eat for them at school or whatever. People come in and, so nobody will look at them and I'll say, okay, could you tell me what you would like? And I'll buy it for you. So I would pay for their meal or whatever snack they wanted, but when I was doing ministry to people on the street, and people say, I was sitting down there, and my sister said, if you go down Young Street area and you see anybody sitting in good clothes on the street, that's my sister. I just sit there and I'll talk to them and say how they're doing or whatever. And if I saw them for a while sitting there, I would bake stuff. I bake like cookies and everything and take it back down the next time. So I look for them to, if they weren't there, somebody else was there, they'll get the cookies as well. And they did that, like Christmas Eve, I would go to church. I go to early service. And then before I went to church, I would buy like 2 boxes of donuts or something.
Right.
And after church, I would call my sister that is at Young Eglinton. She wasn't living there at the time. And we'll go and give them out. Because people need. And people don't understand people need. I mean, I'm not going to be going and hand out money to everybody.
Right.
Right. There's one guy who sits by No Frills over here in Court Mall. And I see him all the time. I say hello to him. I haven't seen him about since the winter began. I saw him once, I think. And I would say, hi, how are you doing, and whatever. And so sometimes, like, I'll empty my change first in his little container, whatever. And I realized that he was doing a lot of painting. Like, he would paint rocks and everything. That's something I like doing, painting rocks, and then I'll put scripture verses on them and everything. So I realized I had like, some extra paints. So I took some and gave them to him. And then when Christmas time came, he was making some little decorations, tree decorations, just little things, like some simple. And I said, okay, so I asked him, how much is for that one? He said, it's free to you. So he gave it to me. If I wanted another one, I would have got another one.
Wow.
Because people are there to help. I mean, like, I'm not saying, as I say, not going to just throwing money around because I don't have that kind of money. I got enough for me and maybe some left over. But, because one day I was over there by No Frills and this lady came up to me, a black lady, and I can't remember where she said she was from. And she said she was hungry, so I said, so what are you going to eat? She said, I don't know. I don't have any money. I can't buy anything. So she had gone to the store before and somebody gave her bread that was on sale. She asked and somebody gave her bread. So I said, come back in the store with me. Tell me what you want and bring the cart around. You can put what you want and I'll pay for it. And she was like, God must be really send you here to me because I didn't know where it's going. I think she was living at there's used to be a hotel called the Delta Hotel, but I think there's people live on it now, like homeless people or something, or people on the street. So I think she's living over there. So, yeah, so. Then she said, but I don't know I can get home because no, my bags are heavy. I don't have a car. So I said, you can take the bus? She said, yes. I said, go and get something to eat. Here's X amount of dollars, go and get something to eat. Then if you can walk the bus, I'll give you another bag and put the other stuff in. And then you can just go home. You get home safely without, trying to know how you can get there, how you think. I said, if I had a car, I don't. I will drop you over there, but I don't have any transportation because most of the time since when I go to the supermarket, they're so close and I know I don't have a load, I'll take a cab back. I figure if I could afford a cab, why not? If I could afford a cab, every time I go to there, I can afford to give somebody a meal or more than one meal. So, she bought her milk and everything. I said, pick up what you want.
Wow.
You see, I think people are here to help. People become so selfish sometimes. I mean, I'll say everybody got money to throw away or food to throw away because I would always go to the food bank anytime before, just buy groceries, put them in the food bank thing. And it's not like a bragging rights, but it's the things that people should think about. You never know when they can come to that day where they're not going to have a meal or not going to have, and somebody might be out there to help them, but you don't know who's going to help you. Right, Jackie?
Right, Jackie? So, Jackie, did you know all this stuff about your church sister? So you're learning a lot about her right now, eh? Look at that.
Because when it was at Global Kingdom, I did a lot of ministry outside of Global Kingdom. It was not only ministry on the street, but it's like because I was doing photography as well. I had like pictures, which I put on cards. And before I wrote a card, I said, Lord, show me who I can give this card to. Most people came to the door, I didn't know who they were. I give them a card, and every next Sunday or something, or even where I'm place, even at work and stuff, and people be crying, and I'm like, what happened? Or remember that card that you gave me? You know, my son was in jail, my sister was sick with cancer. I didn't know all that stuff, but Lord, you know, showed me who to give it to, and I did. Because you see, you got to follow the Lord's leading. You know, I mean, if you know God, you got to follow His leading. Don't say you know God and I'm a Christian and you don't do anything to help anybody. I even made a ministry thing, and I got some, they call them things, little pill bottles from a doctor, the one that weren't used. I'm leaving.
Oh, you're chasing your girlfriend out.
It's closing soon. And I make a I made a pill box, and I put like the scriptures in it.
Right. Ah.
And then I laminate them. What I put those little pictures, 7 pictures, so like 7 days a week you can use 7 pictures whenever you want to. And my first poem that I read was a really long one, and I gave it to Pastor Bob to read, and he decided to print it at the back of the bulletin.
Wow.
And it's called Lean on Him. And I still got some copies left. Not the bulletin one, just got copies left. Like copies, so I did one. I'm leaving.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for this conversation.
Okay.
So I'll put it on I'll put a YouTube link and link you to it so you can see it. And then you can share it with your family and stuff, because these are inspiring, but it's also a document of, you know, the people and history, and look at all the links.
Places and all the links that
and
you
it links you from.
You can come up with, you know. I mean, like, that's why I can't sleep at night, because I'm thinking next step, what I'm going to write. So somebody write, and I'll be crying, and then I call my sister like in the morning and say, oh, she's like, what happened to you? You okay? I said, well, you know, whenever I write and I get things, they always come. God always wash them away with tears. And that's me all the time, you know. Because I remember my mom was sick, and I was a little girl, and I was at school. I was going to in Barbados, I was going to elementary school. I was really crying and weeping. My teacher said, you know, my primary school teacher said, so what happened to you? I said, I'm crying. And she's like, why? Because my mom is going to die tonight. And she's like, really?
Mama, when my dad died,
Yeah.
I went to the church, and I had that same experience. And they told me, how do you know that your dad died? Because anyone called you. I said, no.
Yeah, I was like 6 years old, and I'm thinking, people think that, you know, like you're probably making up stories, and I say, she's going to die tonight, and they said, okay, I'll get somebody to come and get you and take you home. And my mom died the same night, you know what I mean? Yeah. And when my dad died years later, my dad was a pastor, and he was you know, he's a piano player, he's a choir director, he's also a school teacher at the elementary school. And I was going to work, and when I just crossed the street, a song that he had taught me, because he would play the piano if I had to sing somewhere like outside of the church. And you know, and the song that he taught me came back to me that same morning. So I know that he was on his way.
Interesting.
And the other people in the neighborhood too, like somebody that was little, and people would say to me, oh, Miss so-and-so down the street's going to die. I said, you don't have to tell me, I already know. And people thought it was my family thought it was strange that I knew that this person was going to die. Miss Bishop down the street, Miss Griffith down the street.
Wow.
You see, it's a connection, and I don't want to lose that connection. But I can't go and preach at my dad's church, because I get kind of sad when I start preaching at my dad. If I start to bring a message at my dad's church, because it's like, you know, like as though he's standing right beside me. My dad was a well-known person in the neighborhood. He spoke to everybody. You know when you go like I don't know, in the West is in Jamaica, you're born in Jamaica, right? And you know, you see like you rum shop and people come and rum shop and stuff. They always would speak to my dad. They always like saying, "Good morning, Mr. Holder," and they call or Reverend Holder, same they call him, and you know,
He
he
was,
and
he was
he's
Reverend Holder, is his name?
Reverend Holder, yeah. That was he's the Reverend, the pastor, so it's called Reverend.
Where in
Holder.
Barbados?
In St. Michael area.
Michael area?
Yeah, I was brought up in
And that's
St.
where you
Michael.
grew up? Were you?
Yeah, I grew up in St. Michael area, and then after my mom had died, no, my dad got married again, and he lived in some place, and then we went into another house, a family house. We had the other children, and one sister went with him and his new wife, but yeah. So people used to respect him, and he used to respect people. It didn't matter, as I say, what they looked like, what they smelled like. He respected everybody.
So, I'm glad, I was saying, okay, this is going on a bit long, but then you went to this route of some of the inspiration for who you are in the world. It's never a surprise or accident who we become. As you just told the story about your father, it sounds a lot like who you become.
And I wrote a story about my father, too. I haven't published that, but I wrote a different, all sets of thing. One thing I remember writing, like when my mom had, those heavy jacket, those heavy wedding bands, the gold bands. And when she died, she left it with my sister, my older sister. And one day I was going to my sister's bedroom, and I found it, and I took it. And I took it in my bedroom, and then I guess some cousins should come by. I guess they stole it because I didn't find it after that. But anyway, so I started writing a poem about the demise of the wedding band. And talk about when the wedding bands come to the end of the glory or whatever, I'll see the band looking at me or something.
So you've always written?
I've
even as a child?
always written. I wrote my first poem, I tell you, about when I was about 6, and I sang my first solo about 6 plus 7. And I always remember about everybody. Even the other day I was talking to my sister, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that lady who lived across the street that had a little shop that we was going to, and the lady who had the pharmacy at the end of the thing, and the church, we said the brother in church, and so I remember all them little things. I mean, not just now, a long time ago, and it still stays in my memory. Like nothing is the same to be going away from my memory. It's just like I can play it and replay it and replay it. So Jackie, it was so good to see you. You think your mom remembered you tell her who I was?
And how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I turned 70, no.
We're closing? Okay, so they're kicking us out. See, that's how Xanet talked us through till the closing hour. We're closing down the place.
I don't usually come here this time.
And she's not going to tell us her age, as she
No,
shouldn't.
I can tell you.
You're going to tell us?
I'm going to tell him. It's just 20 past. That's all.
Oh, you don't want him to know?
Yeah, just
No.
in case you want to date me, you won't think I'm an old woman.
Okay. Okay.
No, I turned 74 last year.
Okay, you're young.
How old are you,
That's a young
Jackie?
woman. That's a young woman.
How old are you? 60?
Maybe 60.
Oh boy, she's a little girl to me.
I know.
A child.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you can tell the people goodbye. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you for listening.
All right. How dope was that?
I'm just going to go home. Well, I can walk. I got to walk down the hallway anyway. So
Right.
I'm going to walk down the hallway, go home. I don't know, maybe watch a little TV or something. Anyway, so we got to go so they can clean up.
Yeah,
they
we
don't
will
take us out
too.
completely.
Yes.
So we go that way, right?
Yeah, we go
You go
upstairs.
and the elevator behind here. And
Yeah,
then
we
go
take her upstairs. Yeah.
I promised to come there at some point because I told Chaplin to sing that at some point I will come there because there's some ladies who come and sing on Thursdays, but because I have classes on Thursday, I can't make it. They go from, I don't get back home until 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, depends on when I go with my classes. But I told her it's something coming. We talked on the phone, and then when she saw me, so every time she sees me, Japanese, and she always has to give me this big hug. Or,
All right, we're gone.
yeah.